Very good evening. Welcome to the Club World Cup live here on LFS this evening, this Friday night, as we watch Group D action as Flamengo take on Chelsea in Group D of this FIFA Club World Cup. Both sides won on match day one, but 3 points are on the line here, and a chance at maybe qualifying for the knockouts tonight if results go their way in the other game in this group. LAFC against Esperance is later on this evening. Welcome in. Great to have you with us and joining us this evening. We had a little day off yesterday, but we're back and we're ready to go across the weekend full of Club World Cup action for you as the match day 2 of the groups gets underway. The two sets of teams are just about heading out onto the field now. Starting with the Brazilian side, Flamengo, who we're yet to watch in this competition. I'm yet to watch. I'm intrigued to see how the Brazilian side does. As I said before, on Wednesday, the South American sides have impressed, so we'll see how Flamengo do against Chelsea. Probably the toughest opponent for both of these two teams coming into this one in this group tonight. They both cakewalked their first games by 2-0, did Chelsea and Flamengo. So we'll see how they do and perform tonight against each other. It's been a busy day or two since we last spoke to you. This is how yesterday has gone. Of course, we missed the Real Madrid Al Hilal game. I got some good news, so I had to quickly bail, but that draw was massive for Al Hilal against Real Madrid, finished 1-1. In the early hours of yesterday morning, Juventus made easy work of Al Ain. 5-0 winners were Juve in that one. Yesterday evening, Palmeiras started match day 2 on Group A as their 2-0 win over Al Ahly. Inter Miami came from behind to beat Porto by 2-1, and the Seattle Sounders 2 defeats from 2 as they were beaten 3-1 by Atletico Madrid. But the biggest result of the tournament so far, no doubt, is this one. PSG beaten by Botafogo yesterday evening. That was the Group B shocker. Igor Jesus with the winning goal in the end for Botafogo meant they claimed a famous victory over Paris Saint-Germain in that one. A massive result for them. It massively spreads Group B open with 3 of the 4 teams now with at least a win. Botafogo have won both of their games, so they are right on the verge of possibly qualifying, but we'll see how it goes on match day 3. That's on Monday. But look at the stats there, the possession, the shots, the corners, the passes from PSG. But the shots on target and the goal is what differentiated the two teams. And PSG on the end of the shock of the tournament so far as the European champions, beaten by Botafogo, the Brazilian side, by 1-0. That was in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California last night. In the early hours of this morning. There was a game earlier this evening. That is Benfica against Auckland City. That's Group C. That game kicked off at 5 o'clock UK time, so it should be finished by now, but it hasn't got out for the second half. There have been a lot of storm issues in America over the last few days, so that game has been interrupted due to a storm in Orlando. So that game is delayed for the moment, but it is 1-0 at half-time to Benfica. Angel Di Maria from the penalty spot, giving Benfica the lead in the first half there. Right, so that's the way we stand coming into this one tonight between Chelsea and Flamengo, and then LAFC against Esperance is later. Those both Group D games, and if one of these two teams wins tonight, they will move on to 6 points. LAFC and Esperance both with 0 points going into their game later. If one of these two teams between Flamengo and Chelsea win, they could, if those two draw later, they would be qualified for the knockouts. If one of these two wins tonight. So it's big, not only for that, because they can rest players for match day 3, but it is also big because these two are the two top favourites to go through in this group, and a draw for both would be very beneficial, I would say, if results go their way, because they could both qualify tonight. all but qualify really, if they draw and the other game is a draw later. Right, let's have a look at the two teams then, starting for this one. Let's start with Flamengo. They start with Agustin Rossi in goal. Wesley is at right back. Danilo at centre back alongside Leo Pereira. And Ayrton Lucas is at left back. In midfield, former Chelsea and Arsenal player Jorginho starts in midfield. He's alongside Eric Pulgar with Georgian de Arrasqueta further forward in the 10. On the right hand side of the front three is Gerson, the captain. On the left hand side is Luis Araujo, and leading the line Gonzalo Plata, leading the line for Flamengo tonight. 4-2-3-1/4-3-3 for the Brazilians this evening. For Chelsea, they start with Robert Sanchez in goal. They've switched to a back 3/back 5 for this game tonight. So Malo Gusto on the right wing back. Reece James, the captain, alongside Nathaniel Chalobah. No, not Nathaniel Chalobah. Trevor Chalobah, apologies. And Levi Colwill with Marc Cucurella at left wing back. In midfield, Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, with a front three of Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, and Liam Delap making his full debut for Chelsea. He came on in the first game of the group against LAFC, but this is his first senior start for the Blues, and he starts up front. And with, of course, Nicholas Jackson dropping to the bench. And some interesting moves, of course. Tosin also drops to the bench at centre-back, and Chalobah comes in for him as they move to that back three. Chelsea, but they can also go to a back four with James dropping into midfield as well. So there is flexibility in both sides tonight for this one. Our VAR is Guillermo Pacheco from Mexico. A little look at him there. Our referee is from El Salvador. Ivan Barton is our referee this evening for this one. We're at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. It's Flamengo against Chelsea in the FIFA Club World Cup. Kick-off is next. Welcome in. Great to have you with us for this one. We do apologise that I saw a chat there. I do apologise that we had to miss out on the Real Madrid Al Hilal game the other night. I had got some good news in between the two games and I wasn't able to do it, so I do apologise for that. But we move, and we're ready to do this one tonight. And looking forward to this one tonight. Seeing how Chelsea perform against the tough opposition. You know, they didn't easily prance through Los Angeles the other day. They did struggle a little bit towards the second half of that game, and with a more competitive side on paper, you'd see how they perform tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. We are very close to 28,000 subscribers, so if we can get there within the next couple of days, that will be fantastic. And if you can help us in trying to get there, that will be glorious. We are having to work off the zone tonight, so we might be a little bit delayed, about 10-15 seconds from the live feed, but there's really not much I can do to help that. As we have some breaking news as well, we'll get to in a moment, because Liverpool had completed that medical for Florian Wirtz. Well, I think they've just announced Florian Wirtz as a new Liverpool player as we are ready to get underway. That's what I mean, the clock's already going on the match map there, so we might be a little bit ahead, but probably 15-20 seconds if that. Flamengo in black and red, and Chelsea in all white for this afternoon as we get underway at Lincoln Financial Field here in Philadelphia under the baking sunshine. And the baking sunshine also mixed with thunderstorms and severe weather in the United States over the last few days. A couple of games that have been interrupted due to the weather and things that have happened in and around these stadia across the Midwest of America. And Orlando, the latest target of that Benfica Auckland City game. We'll let you know what changes, if anything changes there, but at the moment they are still interrupted, so we will have the second half action when that does get underway. Do let us know what you think for this one this evening, who you think's going to win, what you think the scoreline's going to be. Wolf's already got his prediction in, says Chelsea will win 2-1 against Flamengo tonight. And have a tough task against the Brazilians, as there is a Flamengo player down early on here, as Levi Colwill committed an early foul. And there's the very young Flamengo head coach, Felipe Luis, 39 he is. It's his 47th game in charge of Flamengo this evening. The 39-year-old managed the under-17s and the under-20s before taking charge of the senior team in September of last year. Has Felipe Luis. And one thing about these two sides, they'll both want to control the ball, they both want to play it from the back, they both have similar ways of playing football. And that's how it'll be intriguing and interesting to see how they kind of match up tonight and how they kind of face off against each other. As Wesley works it round the corner, Flamengo trying the early move. Nice interception by Colwell, but almost got his pocket picked there as Chalaba had to rescue it away from danger. And back with the Flamengo centre-back there, Danilo. Now, so we are about, so it's 2 minutes 7, so we're around about 20 seconds behind, so there's really not much we can do about that with the DAZN streams, but that's the joys of it, isn't it? Here's Wesley. Flick ball over the top, there's space there in behind, but covering over had to be Malo Gusto coming from that right side, and he plays it back to Sanchez. Chipped it out forward, rushed it a little bit there, the Chelsea keeper. Flamengo with a good opportunity down the left here. It's played through. Just a little bit heavy towards Plata. Beautiful opportunity, but Plata couldn't quite get on the end of it. It was Sanchez rushed himself in taking that ball away and clearing it out of danger. And Flamengo with a press, win it back quickly and try and move it between the lines, and it was Plata. Gonzalo Plata, the centre forward, that was the target, but the ball played through by De Arrascaeta was just a little bit overhit, and it goes back to Robert Sanchez, and Chelsea can settle. So we can tell you that breaking news then that has just come through, that Liverpool have confirmed the signing of Florian Wirtz as a new Liverpool player at the moment, as there's a loose ball from Chelsea at the back. The referee says play on, the ball's still in play. As Chelsea struggling to get any sort of possession as this shot from distance is flown over the bar. And a toe poker there from Plata, I think, again. Again, it was wasteful from Robert Sanchez. He gave the ball away again cheaply from his own defence, from his own box. And the Flamengo press is so intense that they've got 4 or 5 bodies around the ball in an instant. Jorginho leaves the space open, and then the shot comes from Arrascaeta, and it goes well over the bar for a goal kick. But that's 2 big chances and 2 mistakes from the Chelsea keeper inside the first 4 minutes here in Lincoln Financial Field. That was better. Caicedo flicked out to the right side by James, but intercepted again. Not able to keep hold of the ball here, Chelsea, and that's a ball flicked out to the left hand side here for Araujo. Works it back to Lucas. Goes to hit it himself and hit it straight at Robert Sanchez, who can catch. But getting shots off here, Flamengo, and Chelsea still napping here in these early moments. Couple of good chances for the Brazilian side in the first 5 minutes here. That's a nice through ball. And that's a lovely ball through to Delap here for Chelsea. Big chance for Chelsea. Delap! And a good save by Rossi there. Powers it over the top, but Chelsea were in instantly. One through ball. It was Enzo Fernandez that fed it through beautifully. And then Liam Delap made the run off the centre-back in Pereira. And he just put the height behind it, and Rossi made the save. That's a very good save. Liam Delap, of course, his full Chelsea debut. His first start for the club. And there's that breaking news then for you. As Chelsea take this corner, right hand side. Right footed, lifted into the box. The header by Colwell is directed well wide. No real threat there. So as I was saying, that confirmation that Liverpool have signed Florian Wirtz, that is confirmed now. And the club have announced that Wirtz is a red. And I can give you a little quote from Florian Wirtz here, actually. I would like to win everything for every year. First of all, we have to do our work. I have to make my work. My goal is for sure to win the Premier League again and also to go further in the Champions League. I'm really ambitious. The words of Florian Wirtz after being announced as the new Liverpool player. Of course, signed for £100 million as a base fee with 16 million in add-ons. So one of Liverpool's certainly would become the British record for a signing if all the add-ons are included. And that's a big signing for Liverpool. The champions of England going out and kind of putting everything on the table and going, we're not going to rest on our laurels. They've announced their second signing of the summer after Jeremy Frimpong was announced earlier in the window. That's a lovely little flick ball through. Here's Araujo breaking through. Good step across. Needed it. Very good step across from Moises Caicedo to block off that pass. Chelsea to retrieve. A bit loose from Reece James there as he's caught in the middle by Arrascata. And that's going to be a free kick. Yeah, just a little nibble at his feet there was Arrascata from Reece James. It's definitely a foul. Both sides have showed some promise in the attacking third inside the first 7.5 minutes here. So they're both getting off to a quick start. It was Flamingo that started the better of the two teams, and then Liam Delap had that great chance for Chelsea on the move, but both sides looking threatening. Here is Chalobah. At the minute, it is a back four from Chelsea, with Reece James being a midfielder, the two centre-backs of Chalobah and Colwell, and then the full-backs of Gusto and Cucurella. So it is a traditional back four for Chelsea. But we're wondering if it would be a back three with Reece James playing right centre-back, dropping in alongside the two other centre-backs, but it's just a back four. Here comes Wesley down the right-hand side. Caught in the box there, because he tried to get towards the box there, Gerson. He gives it away, and now Neto springing down the left-hand side for Chelsea. Runs into trouble as Wesley recovers. And Flamengo back on the ball in midfield. Yeah, he run down that left channel for Pedro Neto, but he'd got no options, and the space kind of closed off. They recovered it well, Flamengo. Blocked off that space. There's Rossi's long ball. Will just be retrieved from Chelsea. So as I said, both sides won on match day one, so they come into this in a frivolous position where they know if they win tonight and those two other teams draw in Los Angeles and Esperance later this evening, they will be qualified. They will already be through to the round of 16 and could be through as group winners. That wouldn't be confirmed right away though, but they would be certainly in the top two, which would qualify them for the round of 16. So both sides know a win is huge here this evening, and you know, as I said in the build-up, it's not only getting the 3 points on the board, it's who you got 3 points against, because Flamengo, along with Chelsea, will have hopes and beliefs and wanting to go deep in this competition, and you know, we will see how they perform against each other and against tough opponents, because they're both good enough, these two. That's a lovely flick ball over the top as the onside here. Gerson's breaking down the right-hand side. The flag stayed down for the moment. He's flicked it through. Ball into the box, but a bit low and right towards Robert Sanchez there from the oncoming Arrascata. Yeah, he's onside. He's in his own half there. Gerson. Yeah. And then it was Caicedo on the cover. Flicked it through. Just a little bit overhit from Arrascata as he arrived into the box, and it's just low right at Robert Sanchez. No real worry for the Chelsea keeper on that occasion. Well, remember, of course, whoever gets through out of Group D, which is the group we're watching tonight in this one, whoever gets through in Group D, of course, each group is coupled with another group. So in 8 groups, a little bit of a scruffle here. Moises Caicedo's got a yellow card. It's all gone off here. There was a player brought down, a Flamengo player. Caicedo came flying over, and he got an instant yellow card from the referee. I don't know where that came from, but there's a Flamengo player down holding his shin. It's a late lunge by Caicedo. But there's nothing major in it. He slightly swipes at his leg, but it's not. It's a foul, but it's nothing more than that. It's Jorginho as well. And then Caicedo kind of doesn't take too kindly that Jorginho's in a bit of pain on the ground and kind of loses his patience a little bit there, Moises Caicedo. That gets him a yellow card. The referee was on the scene quickly. The referee throwing out the yellow card to Moises Caicedo. Of course, Jorginho has his history. Former Chelsea player, of course. Former Chelsea captain. And he's got his side a free kick, and the referee's just trying to settle things here as Flamengo ready to take this free kick. It was just a little bit of an outburst there from Moises Caicedo. It wasn't really necessary, if I'm honest. And they're coupled up here in this free kick moment. Caicedo with that Jorginho right on the back of him as they get ready to take this free kick now. The Brazilians chipped towards the box, cleared away. Chelsea want to hit a counter. It's Reece James that flicks it over the top. Oh, an awkward ball. It's fallen nicely here for Pedro Neto, who's running through clean. It's Pedro Neto one-on-one with the keeper, and he finds the back of the net. All from a Flamengo free kick. They don't deal with it well enough, and Chelsea get a slice of luck with a bounce off Pedro Neto. He bursts away one-on-one with the keeper, and he slots it in the bottom corner. They've been under pressure for the majority of the opening minutes of this game, Chelsea, but one fruitful counter-attacking moment that sends their most pacey player one-on-one against the opposition goalkeeper, and he slots it home, and Chelsea take an early lead. Pedro Neto, he has pace to burn, and there he was given the opportunity. He was in a playground, and everybody was nowhere near him. It was Wesley. Whatever they were trying to do there, Flamengo, it didn't work. They were trying to bring the ball down. Wesley kind of headed off his own player. It bounced towards Neto. It bounced past Wesley. Neto one-on-one with the keeper, and he did very, very well. Just lobs it, and the keeper couldn't get enough anywhere near it. And that's a good finish. Fruitful, lucky, fortunate, whatever you want to call it. None of it will matter. And Pedro Neto has Chelsea's opener against the Brazilian side, Flamengo. And that all came, as I said, from a Flamengo free kick in a good position high up the field. Chelsea cleared it away. Flamengo then really couldn't deal with the clearance. They kind of messed it up in possession. And Pedro Neto got a fortunate bounce that he took, and the opportunity was there, and he did not let it go without a goal being scored. And Pedro Neto with a wonderful goal. Flamengo try and get an early response, but that switch ball over towards Luis Araujo just couldn't keep it in play there on that far left-hand side. The Brazilian. And there is Felipe Luis watching on. As I said, his side had, I would say, started the better of the two teams and looked the better with momentum, but when you don't get back into shape after your free kick doesn't go the right way for you and you leave too many bodies forward, you don't deal with those moments under pressure, then you find yourself in a tricky position. And Liam Delap did well there against Pereira. And it's going to be a free kick, so he was dragged to the ground by Leo Pereira there. Nice interception on Levi Colwell's through ball. Herson out to the right hand side. Here it comes. Plata trying to work it in, but again that cross on the right side straight at Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper. Jorginho works it back to Wesley. And just passing the ball around here as Chelsea intercept it well here. Flicked over the top towards Liam Delap, but too close to Agustin Rossi, the Flamengo goalkeeper. So 16 minutes gone. Flamengo 0, Chelsea 1. Pedro Neto with the opener for the Blues. We're yet to hear if they're restarting in Orlando. We believe they're still interrupted at the moment. So, yeah, so that game is still at half-time because the interruption was called when the game is at half-time. So, therefore, they haven't started the second half there between Benfica and Auckland City. So, it is still 1-0 to Benfica with a whole half of football still to go in that one. We'll let you know when that gets underway, but still they remain interrupted at this moment in time. It's Flamengo with a free kick here inside the Chelsea half. Well, taken short this time. Pereira. Lucas. Jorginho. Back here with Wesley on the right-hand side. Danilo. To Jorginho, chipping it over the top, looking for the run of Plata there, but just overhit it. Wolf says, I want Delap to score. And we got a good chance to score for Chelsea early in the game. First few minutes, Chelsea's real first chance of the game, he actually had the chance to score, but couldn't find a way past Agustin Rossi on that occasion. But I'm sure, I've got a feeling he'll have a few more chances in this game, I would say. Liam Delap. A real grapple there between Herson and Levi Colwell. And the Flamengo captain Herson thought he was kind of impeded. Nothing's really come of that. The ball comes all the way back to Robert Sanchez and the Chelsea goal, so that's where we stand on that one. Chalaba. Colwell to Cucurella. He had no forward pass and decided just to take the throw in there, Marc Cucurella. Only one of the higher performers for Chelsea in that 2-0 win over Los Angeles on match day 1. Marc Cucurella. That throw-in didn't really help Chelsea, although they've won the ball back off Wesley, who won it back again, and no foul there, as Pedro Neto thought he was brought down illegally. The referee didn't. Back with Leo Pereira. Fizzes one out to Lucas on the left side. John couldn't find it through to Araujo. Caicedo was bundled over as Lucas tried to win it back, and that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea. Yeah, just a little bit sloppy at times when they're trying to win the ball back. Flamengo, they're trying to force the issue a little bit, and then they leave themselves in a position where they have to battle for the ball in the central areas, and more often than not Chelsea are going to get the free kick for those sort of bits and pieces. So it's just not right helping yourself to keep the ball at the moment. Although despite that, over the first 20 minutes or so, they've had 64% of the ball, Flamengo, so they've had more of the possession. Oh, a little bit loose there from Pereira, who was brought down. He wanted a foul, but the referee said there was no foul, and his keeper had to deal with it there, Rossi. Jorginho helping out. Lucas gets it back to Rossi again, who will thump it long, and thumped it out of play for a Chelsea throw on the far side. Well, I've got to say, from Chelsea's point of view, we've not seen much of Cole Palmer in these early moments. Here's Caicedo. Right to the left-hand side comes Cucurella. Now Fernandez. Caicedo to Fernandez again. Not looking to spend too much time on the ball are the Chelsea players, just trying to move it quickly and with pace, but Caicedo intercepted there with his pass. And that's the forcing of the issue kind of idea. Sometimes it's not a bad thing just to hold on to the ball for that extra second or so. And trying to get it off first time, it just, as I say, forcing the issue just not keeping the ball well enough and hampering yourself in the game. As Lescata comes off the forward line, lays it off to Gerson. Wesley, Gerson plays it back to his defenders. Starting to get a little bit more control on the ball in those tight spaces, Flamengo. Nice ball out wide to Wesley. Through into the space here for Arascata. And Plata tries to square it out to the far left side for Araujo, but nicely intercepted by Malo Gusto. And now stolen away from Cole Palmer on this right-hand side. Nice from Flamengo. Araujo. Lucas. Jorginho now. And work it back to Pereira. It was a little bit better from Flamengo in that phase of play. Down that side. That's a nice ball by Pereira. Araujo looking for the cutback. Gerson leaves it. It's fallen for Wesley here on the edge of the box. Try and cross it. Well blocked by Cucurella, who got his foot in the way of that one. Wesley keeps it. Down the right side it comes. Nice little give and go there. Wesley's broke into the box. He was hacked out there. Completely cynically brought down. And Pedro Neto, without any question from the referee, is going to get a yellow card there. It was a late lunge. Nowhere near the ball. Wesley had him absolutely beaten. And he was miles onside. And it's just a late challenge by Neto. It's what you call a centre-forwards challenge, even though he's not a centre-forward, but that's that type of challenge. You're not used to slide tackling in those areas. And that's one of those where you're probably a second late. And it's definitely a foul. And it's a very good area here, right on the edge of the box on the right-hand side. And he gets a yellow card, Neto, obviously, for stopping the promising attack. Because Wesley was about to break into the box and either set up a shooting chance or have a shooting chance of his own. He wasn't last man, so that's why it's only yellow, obviously. Free kick here for Flamengo, 24th minute of this game here at Lincoln Financial Field. Since Chelsea have scored, it's been Flamengo that have responded better as they try that sneaky one off the near post, but it's flicked behind by Cucurella for the corner. Yeah, it was Araujo who took it low and tried to force it across the near post, but Cucurella got something to it and put it behind for the corner, which Araujo will take. He'll take it short. Falls to the edge of the box, whipped in again. Low, but punched away by Trevor Chalobah. With his foot, obviously. And out for a throw-in to Flamengo. They're trying the training ground exercises, those little sneaky ones. You know, either the free kick and then, of course, the corner. They're trying those kind of, let's see what we've done in training kind of ideas. And both really didn't come off in the end. Welcome in XL, great to have you with us. Lovely little move between the lines here. Here's Gerson. He's got Wesley charging down the right. Here's Wesley into the box. Gets to the byline, chips it back across. And first header won by Reece James, who heads it behind for another Flamengo corner. It seems like Wesley's getting a lot of that space wide in that right-hand side now. And it's very narrow. The Chelsea back four, very, very narrow on that occasion. Marc Cucurella, literally within the width of the 6-yard box, it was that narrow. And Wesley had all the time and space in the world. Corner whipped in, but that time Robert Sanchez claims it comfortably for Chelsea. But it's a good response from the Brazilians to going behind. Long kick there. Again by Robert Sanchez. He's not had a confident start to this game, if we don't forget. First few minutes he gave away 2 cheap clearances and put Chelsea right under pressure from those clearances. So he's not kind of started confidently here, the Chelsea keeper, and I think Flamengo need to take advantage of that. Try and put him under pressure themselves. That's a lovely move to Wesley again, who cuts it back. And again it was Plata in the middle, but Chalobah got there ahead of him. Put it behind, although there was offside anyway, I think, against Wesley. But every time Flamengo get forward, yeah, he's just offside there, Wesley. The way they've responded to going behind here against Chelsea Very impressive from the Brazilians. A good number of opportunities down that right flank mostly, with Wesley, or even Gerson, and that's where they're having their threats at the moment, are Flamengo. Only had 2 registered shots in the game though, Flamengo, and the latest of those actually came in the 5th minute, so they haven't had a registered shot since the 5th minute. They're getting in the right areas, just not getting the shots off like they did in the early moments. Here's Gusto to have a shot from long range, but Agustin Rossi had it covered in the end. It's worth a hit there from Malo Gusto. Bounced up, it wasn't the most confident of claims from Agustin Rossi, but it was really, in the end, no imminent danger, so he didn't have to catch it first time, but he probably would have wanted to. K. Hardy says, watching from San Luis Obispo in California. Great to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining. Oh, that's a lovely run here by Lucas, but it's too many in front of him to keep that run going. He got right up until the back line of Chelsea there as he charged through, and in the end there was just too many defensive bodies in the way in white in front of Lucas there, but it was a good attempt of a run from the Flamengo left back. That's one thing about Brazilian teams, and you know, South American teams as a whole, but Brazilian teams, you know, we talk about that physicality and that running pace that they've got. They are not afraid to take risks. No matter where you play on the field, they all feel confident, more than confident on the ball, to just take bodies on and run into midfield. And that's what makes them so good. What a run here from Pedro Neto. Battling challenges as Delap gets it now. He's tussling. And it's Leo Pereira. And they're in each other's ear with those little bit of giving off from both players there. The little bits of skill from Pedro Neto was beautiful. Dancing his way through the Flamengo players. And laid it off to his centre forward and Liam Delap. Look at this, he gets past Wesley and drags another defender in with him, tiptoeing his way around, and Wesley goes for another chance. He misses as well, and then he skips past another defender. Absolutely wonderful from Pedro Neto. Just unfortunate that didn't end up in a shooting chance or a goal, because that would have been remembered, that little moment. Anthony says, great commentary, thank you, happily subscribed. Thank you very much, Anthony, for the support. And thank you very much for joining us, of course. It's great to have everybody joining and watching and enjoying the stream so far. It's been a good game, good first 30 minutes, as we're going to have a little cooling break here. As the heat, certainly I need a cooling break here. It's still 25 degrees or something here in Belfast, 24 degrees at 8 o'clock at night. It's been awful all day. Been roasting. Just for a look, I'll actually see what it is at Lincoln Financial Field, what temperature it is. I think 28 degrees at Lincoln Financial Field, but of course that's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's middle of the day in Philadelphia. And they're having a little bit of a refresh. I can tell you what's coming up here on LFS. Tomorrow, we have a big game for you. To start off our double header of coverage on tomorrow and Saturday. Mamelodi Sundowns take on Borussia Dortmund after Dortmund's draw on match day 1, and Mamelodi Sundowns topping that group after beating Ulsan by a goal to nil. It means Mamelodi Sundowns go into that game tomorrow knowing a win could be massive for them, but knowing a win for Dortmund is a must, because Dortmund set themselves with a tough task of the next 2 games after their first game draw. So that's tomorrow at 5, and then 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Or sorry, we don't have a double header tomorrow. It's a double header on Sunday, actually. That's what it is. Double header on Sunday as we watch Juventus and then Real Madrid afterwards. That's what it is. But yes, that's tomorrow's offering. Mamelodi Sundowns against Borussia Dortmund. That's 5 o'clock kickoff UK time. Carl has just subscribed. Thank you very much indeed, Carl. Thank you to everybody who's subscribing, who's joining, who's liking the stream. Do like it as well. Do that like button if you're enjoying the stream. It would be greatly appreciated. If we can get that up, that would be fantastic. So thank you very much for joining us. We're very close to 28,000 subscribers. We're getting there. We're getting there. As, this cooling break will come to an end in a moment or so. Yeah, we're ready to go again. 31.5 minutes gone in this first half. Flamengo 0, Chelsea 1. Pedro Neto's goal. It was a bit fortunate. Not well dealt with by the Flamengo backline as they kind of messed it up. Muddled it up between the two players, and Pedro Neto came flying in and run away with it. Charged towards the goalkeeper and lobbed them in Augustine Rossi to find the Chelsea opener. Remember, a win for one of these two teams tonight and a draw in the later game in this group will mean that the winner of this match will qualify for the knockouts for the round of 16 of the FIFA Club World Cup. Because, for example, Chelsea winning now puts them on 6 points. Flamengo on 3 if it ends in as it is at the moment. If those two, Los Angeles and Esperance, draw later, because they're on 0, they will both go on to 1 with a draw, which will mean Chelsea will be 5 points ahead of those 3rd and 4th, which means they're insurmountable with 1 game to go. Flamengo would still need at least a draw from their last game to secure a 2nd spot. If that ends a Chelsea win tonight and the game later ends in a draw. And it's the same if Flamengo win in this one. No matter who wins in this one, a draw later will qualify the winner for the knockouts. We're already getting into our permutations. And remember, as I was trying to get to a point earlier before that little scuffle that saw Moises Caicedo yellow carded in the early moments of this game, remember each group is coupled with another group because there's 8 groups. So the winners of each group will play the runners-up of the coupling group, and the same vice versa. So Group D is coupled with Group C. So the winner of this group will play the runners-up of Group C, which includes Bayern Munich, Boca Juniors, Benfica, Auckland City. That's Group C. So the runners-up and winners of this group will play Group C teams who qualify. That's the way the tournament works. That's the way all international tournaments work, and all tournaments really should work because it makes it just easier. A and B are linked, C and D are linked, E and F are linked, and then G and H are linked as well. Just makes it easier to organise fixtures, to organise situations, and what's to come in the competition. So we could have, very realistically, an all-European clash in the round of 16 from Group C and D. Because we have 3 European teams in Group C. Bayern Munich, Benfica. 2 European teams, sorry, from Group C. Bayern Munich and Benfica. And then, of course, Chelsea in this group. So there is a possibility we could get a European clash in the round of 16, depending on what way it finishes in the 2 groups. And as well, just to inform you, from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, that's match day 3 fixtures in all 8 groups. And we'll be covering 4 groups at 8 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. We will cover both games. We will have, I'll be commentating on one of the games, and then we'll keep you up to date with the scores in the other. And of course, that's the match day 3, as both games in each group will kick off at the same time on match day 3. And I'm sure there will be some interesting and intriguing final day, or match day 3 kind of scorelines and situations that will come about. 10 minutes to go with the first half here. Here's Cucurella. Neto. To Enzo Fernandez. Back it goes to Levi Colwill. One thing, Chelsea have had a lot less possession than Flamengo. Almost half the possession they've had. Flamengo have had 67%, 33% for Chelsea, so 2/3 to 1/3 in Flamengo's favour in terms of possession. But Chelsea have had double the shots that the Brazilians have had. Still haven't had a shot since the 5th minute, Flamengo, in this game. They started really well. They've still looked threatening in the wide areas, but they're just not getting shots off. They're not getting towards the Chelsea keeper enough. Not testing Robert Sanchez anywhere near enough at the moment. A little loose there from Wesley, which forces Herson into a lunging challenge, but he gets the last touch off Neto and wins a throw-in for Flamengo down that right-hand side. Wesley linking up with Herson, and the block there made, and Wesley had the last touch, which will get a Chelsea throw in almost exactly the same position on the field. I believe there's still yet to be an update on the situation in that Benfica game. We're yet to hear any news that if that game will restart or not. Or if it, I would say it would restart, but when it will restart. I'll keep you informed, because that's very intriguing. Very interesting. Benfica leading Auckland City by a goal to nil, by the way, in that one. It is half-time officially, so there's still another 45 minutes to play when they get playing it at some point. Plata there tries to work through the lines along with Arasqueta. Sorry. Here is Pedro Neto down the left for Chelsea in a little bit of space. We'll work it back into midfield to Caicedo. Now Colwell. Palmer. Right to the right hand side it comes. Gusto. Back to Palmer. Trying to work his way into space here, Cole Palmer. James. Out wide it goes to Gusto again. Palmer. Try to roll it around his defender and spin on the ball. And it was Jorginho that kind of denied him the chance to do that by holding him a little bit. And that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea all day long from Jorginho there, of course. Former Chelsea player. A 33-year-old Italian. Spent 4.5 seasons at Chelsea between 2018 and 2022 before joining Arsenal. And then, of course, joined Flamengo just at the start of this month from Arsenal after 2 years at the club in North London. Free kick here for Chelsea. There are 3 Flamengo players in the vicinity. They take the corner, free kick short, work towards the box, cleared away at the front post by Lucas. And a little bit of pressure on Gusto here as he does about get it back to Robert Sanchez. Almost a bit of deja vu there. The fact that that's how Chelsea got their goal, but the Chelsea defence dealt with it a lot better than the Flamengo defence did earlier in the game. Sanchez, flick on header there from Cucurella, and no room for Enzo Fernandez to burst down the left side. They've moved it well, Flamengo. There's no doubt about that. They're moving the ball well. Here's Araujo trying to go for the early cross. But there was no one in red and black anywhere near where that ball was going. And Cucurella can just simply play it back to his keeper. Chalaba digging it out of the ground, round the corner to Gusto. 5 minutes to go with the half. Chelsea leading by a goal to nil here in Group D. Scoreline that could qualify them if results go their way later. Herson trying to go for the 1-2, but the ball forward to Plata again. Not much service so far for Gonzalo Plata up front for Flamengo. He's not got really much connection on the ball today so far in this first half. It's had 11 touches in the first 40 minutes here. 24-year-old from Ecuador. Joined for an unknown fee back in August of last year from Al Sadd in Qatar. Had a spell at Sporting, did Gonzalo Plata, and Real Valladolid in Spain for joining Al Sadd, and then Flamengo back last summer. Actually, his last goal, Gonzalo Plata, came in a 6-0 win for Flamengo back in April against Juventus in Brazil. 6-0. Of course, they sit top of the Brasileiro Serie A. Do Flamengo coming into this tournament. 11 games played they've had. 7 wins, 3 draws, 1 defeat. And they have a game in hand on the teams around them, so they're in a strong position. As that's a late challenge by Cucurella on Wesley. It's going to be a free kick to Flamengo. Cucurella can't believe it, but it did look a little... Well, to be fair, it's just maybe a clash between the two. It's more of a collision rather than... Oh, well. Did his left hand kind of flap at his face, maybe? It kind of brought Wesley down, but kind of just collided the two players, if I'm totally honest. It is a free kick to Flamengo. And Liam Delap's just been told to step away 10 yards by the referee, as is Cole Palmer. Chance for Georgian de Arrasqueta to whip in here for Flamengo from the right-hand side. Arrasqueta with a delivery, right-footed, back post, flicked across and off the line. Still alive here, there's a bit of head tennis in the box, brought down. Chelsea can't get it clear. Arrasqueta again. Fizzing it to that back post again. Caicedo will direct it back to his goalkeeper. That was awkward for a moment for Chelsea. The ball deep to the back post wasn't watched. Hairston got it back across. It kind of deflected, and as it looped in the air, it was Levi Colwell that cleared it off the line. The keeper was wrong-footed completely by the deflection. And then Chelsea ultimately dealt with a situation in the second phase of the cross, dealt with by Moises Caicedo. But some threat there from Flamengo in that set piece. Chelsea get away with it. That little nervy moment. As they look at the space down the right hand side here. Neto across. Liam Delap. Good challenge by Wesley. It got across the centre forward quickly. It's still in play here on the far right side. Palmer. Blocked off well down that side there by Jorginho, and out for the Chelsea throw. Well, I don't know how that came about, but Chelsea found the space down the right. Yeah, it's a mismatch. Wesley kind of played him on down that right side, and the space is gaping down that right side, and couldn't find Delap with a cross. Wesley did well to make up for his earlier mistake of playing him onside and making the clearance. Last minute of the half then. Flamengo 0, Chelsea 1. Pedro Neto the scorer. Caicedo, nice ball out wide to Cucurella. Space here on the left flank. Rolls it through. A little bit short for Fernandez, but he's kept it alive. And Enzo Fernandez trackled and rumbled. And as he was brought down, he wanted a penalty here. It's going to be a goal kick, or a corner actually. But see this again. So Fernandez was challenged. Is it a foul? Yeah, there's nothing in that. There's nothing in that. Up at the ground, will you? There's nothing in that. Gerson just tries to go for the challenge. He actually doesn't make any contact with Enzo Fernandez. It's not a foul. That's definitely not a penalty. Good decision from the referee there. Under pressure in that moment. We'll see his referee's view again. He's got a very good view of it, and he can see all day long there was no foot contact there whatsoever. Yeah, it's definitely not a foul. Very good decision from the referee there. Well played. Although VAR might have their say. Ivan Barton is our referee. He didn't give it, but VAR might, from what I'm hearing. And the decision is no penalty. Play on. Check complete. And I think that's the right decision. It wasn't a penalty in my opinion. I mean, Enzo Fernandez, if you're going to try and win a penalty, at least be a little bit more convincing. There was no contact. It's not a dive because there was like some grappling with the arms, but it was never anywhere enough to bring him down. He went down far too easily. It wasn't a dive, but it was just never a penalty either. And I think a lot of the times people don't realise that you can have physicality without it being a penalty. and you can have physicality without it being a dive. As there's going to be a foul here given against Liam Delap, who's going to get a yellow card thrown in his face by the referee quite flamboyantly there. Yeah, I mean, Leo Pereira stepped away from him, and Liam Delap just came crashing through. And that's going to be a yellow card. Chelsea are struggling with the physicality in this game. There's been a couple of times where Flamengo have just had the coolness in those one-on-one duels, and Chelsea have kind of come bombing through and got some cheap yellow cards, some silly little niggles from Chelsea. As Luis Araujo down this left-hand side, he's burst away. Tried the cross, little deflection off Malo Gusto, which will get a Flamengo corner. Good break down that left side. Last minute of the 3 additional in this first half. Going for the short corner again. Jorginho back out wide. Flamengo trying to work the angle again, but the cross this time takes no deflection. Or it does take a deflection, sorry, it does. Off Cole Palmer. Will be another corner. Corner number 4 of the game for the Brazilians. Lifted into the box this time. The header by Leo Pereira was right at Robert Sanchez. And if I'm not mistaken, I am mistaken. Forget about it. Don't worry. I was going to say that was their first shot on target since the 5th minute, but they've had a couple of shots. Here they come again. They might get a sneaky equaliser before half-time. Whip ball across. Cucurella has to force it behind for another corner. The ball was looped up into the box. Here's a nice run in behind. I think it was Arascata that just kept it alive and looped it into the box, and Cucurella had to head it behind for a corner. This will be the last action of the half, surely. Gerson goes short, long distance out to the centre-back Danilo. And now Wesley will have an effort which deflects, but deflects right into the arms of Robert Sanchez, who was diving. And that is the end of the first half. I was unsure about that for a second. There is half-time. And a first half where Flamengo looked the better in terms of quality on the ball, but they just couldn't get enough shots off and test Robert Sanchez enough in that first half. For Chelsea, a fortunate breakaway, a mismatch from Flamengo in one particular moment in the game that allowed Pedro Neto to burst through one-on-one. And he had pace to burn, he always has, Pedro Neto. They burst through and find the back of the net, which has the Blues leading by 1-0 at the break. Flamengo 0, Chelsea 1. We'll analyse the first half when we come back. Welcome back to the FIFA Club World Cup here on LFS this Friday evening. Half-time in Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. It's Flamengo 0. Chelsea 1. Pedro Neto with the goal in that first half has given Chelsea the lead. Now remember, as I said, if Chelsea win, or Flamengo win, whatever one wins this game, if a draw happens later between LA and Esperance, then the winner of this game will be automatically qualified for the round of 16 based on their position. Obviously, it would mean both sides, one of those sides that have won both games. Right, but at half-time it is Chelsea with the advantage. But there is no doubting Flamengo have had the chances of their own in that first half to respond and try and get that equaliser. So we're still very much in the balance in terms of things from the first half. And I hark back to the game between Chelsea and Los Angeles that I watched and commentated on the 16th, which was Monday. And I remember watching that game and going, at half-time, I go, yeah, Chelsea 1-0 up. They're doing well, they're performing well, they're playing well, they're doing all the right things. They need the second goal. And the same I would say tonight. They need it more in this game, obviously, because probably one, better opposition, and two, they're on the back foot a little bit, Chelsea. Although they're leading, this first half has basically just been a lot of Flamengo possession and chances and opportunities, and Chelsea maybe getting the rare breakaway or the odd kind of counter-attack or the odd kind of burst down the left channel or the right channel. There's not been any consistent possession from Chelsea. There's not been enough pressure on a consistent basis from Chelsea, but they're making chances. So you could argue, on one front, they're getting in the right areas and they're doing the right things and they're leading by a goal to nil. But you can also say that the momentum is kind of swinging in Flamengo's favour, and if it continues into the second half, I think Flamengo will have a chance of getting back into this game and really kind of taking the game to Chelsea in the second half. But one thing that Flamengo need to improve on from that first half is testing Robert Sanchez. They didn't do it enough. They had two chances inside the first 5 minutes where you thought they could really be going at Chelsea here. They could be in a really good position, Flamengo. They started really, really well. And then the Chelsea goal kind of stifled it a little bit. But then they built it back up. They were possessing the ball. They were having a lot of the possession. They were getting into the right areas. They were doing the right things. Up until the final third, Flamengo, where they weren't getting a shot off, or they weren't getting the space in the box, or they didn't play the right pass into the box, and all those little things not combining for them let them down in that first half. They didn't test Robert Sanchez enough, and I think in the second half, if they can do that a little bit more and put the goalkeeper under a little bit more pressure, because those two early chances came from mistakes by Robert Sanchez, so he's not looking incredibly confident, the Chelsea goalkeeper, so there's a mistake in him, and I would say from a Flamengo point of view, I would say the main target in the second half is have shots at the keeper, put the keeper under pressure, and keep doing what you were doing in the build-up. Just try and get into better shooting opportunities and better shooting positions, because you can do it, and the opportunities are there for them if they can and want to do it. And I think there is quality in that Flamengo team. We just haven't seen enough of it in the final third in that first half. But Chelsea, credit to them, that breakaway, fortunate chance that the cynics will call it, but at the end of the day, you take your chances when they come for you, and Chelsea did. And that's why they lead by a goal to nil at the break. But of course, still a whole half of football to come. A reminder for you, that game between Benfica and Auckland is still being interrupted, is still suspended at this moment in time due to weather conditions in Orlando. The latest update from Benfica's X page was at 16 minutes past 6 UK time, so that was almost an hour and 45 minutes ago, and their latest update was game interrupted due to storm in Orlando. The match will be resumed as soon as possible. That's the latest update that we have from Benfica, and we will let you know if anything changes there. But it was half-time when the game was suspended or the game was interrupted, and they haven't then restarted that second half. So there's still another 45 minutes of that game to be played in Group C. Benfica leading Auckland City by a goal to nil at half-time there. Right. We're all ready for the second half. A reminder for you that tomorrow's offering for you of the Club World Cup is Mamelodi Sundowns against Borussia Dortmund. That's tomorrow at 5. That is from Group F. after their 0-0 draw with Fluminense on match day 1 Dortmund. They need a win tomorrow. Mamelodi Sundowns, if they win, they're in a very good position. 2 wins from 2 after beating Ulsan on match day 1. That game is tomorrow, 5 o'clock from the TQL Stadium in Cincinnati, which has been a little bit of a cursed stadium. Jesus. Excuse me. A little bit of a cursed stadium in the competition so far, because that's the stadium that's had the most interruptions for weather conditions. So fingers crossed it's all right tomorrow. We'll see. The second half between Flamengo and Chelsea is on the way in a moment. Welcome back. Right, the players in the tunnel, ready for the second half to get underway. We can show you the live table, as I was explaining to you the kind of circumstances of what can happen in Group D tonight. There is a situation where one of the two teams can be qualified tonight. There it is. So Chelsea at the moment are winning. So that would mean they would be on 6 points. They would be 3 points ahead of Flamengo, and they would be 6 points ahead of both LA and Esperance. But they would have to draw those two teams when they play later, because then Chelsea would then qualify. But if Flamengo come back and win, then the same still needs to happen later. The LA Esperance game will need to finish in a draw for either Chelsea or Flamengo to qualify tonight. And that is if one of those two teams win this game. A draw wouldn't do that in any case. Right. So that was just explaining the table and how things are going with the table in Group D. Of course, the winners of this group will play the runners-up of Group C, and the winners of Group C will play the runners-up of this group. So coupled with Group C are Group D, as the Flamengo players back out for the second half. Ready to get going. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already, as we await the return of the Chelsea players in the baking Philadelphia heat. 28 degrees Celsius in Philadelphia, and there's a man who will want more of his side from that first half, Felipe Luis. He's only lost 3 times in his 46 previous games in charge of Flamengo, so he doesn't lose often in charge of this side. The 39-year-old has won 40 of his 58 games as a manager, which is incredible. 69% win rate. Wonderful. And the Flamengo players having some interesting chats between themselves while they wait for the Chelsea players to return. They're keeping us waiting here, Chelsea. We've been ready to go for the second half for the last 2 minutes or so. Trying to keep us waiting, giving us as much time to wait as possible. Here they come. Better late than never from Chelsea as they take their time. Eventually returning to the field, and all white of course today. One of their new kits. They're coming onto the field that late, Chelsea, that they've actually closed the advertising hoarding on the side of the field. That's how late they are. They were ready to start kicking off and they realised, oh, we still 11 players still to come back onto the field. But overall, from that first half, you know, Chelsea do lead, and Chelsea have that advantage from that fortunate breakaway from Pedro Neto. But overall, I'd say, as I said in the analysis at half-time, they're not in a comfortable position, Chelsea. Flamengo have offered themselves some really good opportunities in that first half, and they had opportunities to equalise at the end of that first half. But Chelsea just need to be a little bit more controlled on the ball and work it into better spaces, and maybe get Liam Delap more involved, because he's really struggled in that first half to get much action other than that chance he had in the first 10 minutes. That's the only real opportunity that Liam Delap has had in this game so far. as we will get ready for the second half. Keep us waiting, as they have the whole last 3 minutes. And now we're underway for the second 45 here in Philadelphia. Chelsea with a 1-goal advantage, knowing that a win here this evening could be enough for them to already qualify for the round of 16. And a result that will be quite big in the grand scheme of things, considering the opposition they're playing tonight in Flamengo. One of Brazil's best in this tournament. Actually, the first Brazilian side to go behind in a game in this competition are Flamengo, funnily enough. Which is quite fascinating, considering we're in match day 2, and there are, if I had to calculate it, I don't need to calculate it, I'll just look at my list, as Gerson thought he was brought down there on that far right side, but referee saw no issue with that moment. So there are total 4 Brazilian sides in this competition: Flamengo, Palmeiras, Fluminense and Botafogo, and they are the first Brazilian side to go behind Flamengo this evening. The other 3 sides yet to find themselves behind in their respective games in this tournament. Of course, Botafogo, with the result of the tournament so far, with that 1-0 win over PSG in the early hours of this morning. Wonderful performance from them against the European champions. That's now good work for Delap to drop a little deeper and work it out wide. It comes. Here comes Neto. Drifting off the left-hand side, trying to dribble into the box. Lifts it across as Danilo heads it clear. That was better again. Liam Delap getting more involved, dropping a little deeper, allowing it to drag the defenders out of position and then offer the space wide for the wingers to exploit. Here's Caicedo, chips it over the top, looking for the run of Delap that time, but again, as they've done majority of the half, Flamengo, they've dealt with that threat. And they don't keep the ball though. Caicedo, out wide to Gusto. And works it back to Trevor Chalobah for Chelsea, who will look to have more of the ball. Cucurella. Quite unlike Chelsea over the last season, they had only 37% possession in that first half, which is not very Chelsea-like under Enzo Maresca. But we said at the start of the game, both sides will be fighting for that possession. Chelsea just couldn't get a good hold of it in that first half on a consistent basis. We're trying to rush things at times and force issues. And there we go again. That first time ball by Caicedo forced it through the lines, but unnecessarily, as he wins it back again. Does Moises Caicedo. Here's Palmer, but there's going to be a stoppage here for the moment for Chelsea. Whatever's happened actually at this moment in time, as they try and play the ball through in behind. Here's a chance. Oh, lifted across and well defended again. That time by the Flamengo defence. As that's going to be a throw-in on that side for Chelsea. But as I was saying about kind of that little bit of kind of, what was the word I was trying to use? A little bit impatient Chelsea in their possession in that first half, and you know, Flamengo just could live with that easily. You know, when they forced it, they put a little press on, and their press was very impressive in that first half. Flamengo, and winning the ball back off Chelsea, and just didn't do it well enough on the ball in that first half. And that's a nice move though. Palmer dropping a little deeper, working it to Gusto wide, who was brought down by Lucas, and that's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for the left back there. And yeah, Lucas tracking Gusto inside, and yeah, he just clipped him on the way in there. And Ayrton Lucas gets himself a yellow, the 28-year-old Brazilian. free kick here for Chelsea to try and deliver in inside the first 5 minutes of the first half. Or the second half, sorry. First 5 minutes of the second half. James with delivery. Oh, off the head of Cucurella, but he couldn't direct it towards goal. Lifted into the box well. Whether Cucurella was offside anyway, but flicked it. Just didn't get anywhere near closer to the goal from Reece James's delivery. Just kind of glanced off the head of Cucurella and went wide. Here's Wesley down this right side. Chops on to his left foot. Past Cucurella, who shoves him to the ground, but no foul, said the referee. Fair challenge. Caicedo trying to give a little bit of control to the Chelsea midfield. Welcome in, Collier. Great to have you with us. Maybe that was... I think that comment came in at half-time. Apologies I didn't get responding quick enough, or quicker to you. But welcome in to everybody joining us. And that was a little bit impatient there from Marc Cucurella. He gave away a needless corner here. Playing out from the back, and that little bit of pressure I said about that. That pressure from Flamengo has caught Chelsea out at times. And that time, Cucurella tried to play it back to his centre-back in Levi Colwill and completely mismeasured it. Corner to Flamengo. On the right-hand side here. A little bit of a fortunate chance at trying to get an equaliser as the referee from El Salvador has to sort out one or two issues. Does Ivan Barton, or Ivan Barton. So corner to Flamengo, right side, lifted across the front post and put behind off a Flamengo player. Goal kick. A little bit anticlimactic that was, if I'm honest. One thing you could say about Flamengo from that first half, they did have threat from set pieces. And that was something that, you know, I was wishing that they would focus a little bit more on, because I want to see kind of a good tussle. Because these two are well capable of providing a very, very highly competitive game. It's a lovely ball wide from Enzo Fernandez. Out wide Augusto here, whips it back into the box. Half cleared by Wesley. As Enzo Fernandez will get the first touch on the ball. Whips it back in again. And that one too far ahead of Liam Delap and caught by Agustin Rossi in the Flamengo goal. Pumped up the field. Oh, a little bit of a loose one. And it's through for Gerson. He's one-on-one with the keeper. He chops back. Gerson trying to curl it. And it's bobbled and bundled wide. Goodness me. Almost a carbon copy of how Pedro Neto gave Chelsea the lead. Flamengo had a chance just like it. That long clearance, the two defenders get muddled up. It's Gerson that's made the challenge. He breaks through and then tries to whip it. Good save by Sanchez, and then a chance at the back post to try and pop it home. I just couldn't direct it in. The Flamengo player, couldn't quite see the number on his back there. Was it Arrascata? No, it was Plata. Plata just couldn't direct it past Sanchez. What an opportunity. A carbon copy of Pedro Neto's and how it came about. And that was clutch from Robert Sanchez with the save. But massive missed chance for Flamengo. Massive missed chance. As Sanchez will get a bit of treatment at the moment, so must have hurt himself in the process there of trying to keep the ball out of his net. That was a chance you usually only see once in a game. It's come about twice in this game. One side took it, the other side didn't. And that's the difference in the scoreline at the minute. That's how it comes about. Robert Sanchez should be okay to continue. We got a shot there of the sub-keeper, Philip Jorgensen, but Sanchez looks okay. As they're going to make this change now, Flamengo. So number 27, Bruno Henrique is coming on. 34-year-old centre forward, and he's coming on to replace Georgian de Arrascata. So Arrascata coming off, and Henrique on for Flamengo. So a change at centre forward. Oh well, a change up front because Plata's playing centre forward. So Arrascata was just behind the centre forward. So we'll see what way that works out. Maybe a 4-2-2-2. So Bruno Henrique on for Flamengo. What can he do to make the difference for the Brazilians after they missed such a great chance a moment or so ago? Oh, Delap's caught the keeper napping. Oh, it's just gone wide. Jesus God. The defence were sleeping. Ball over the top. And this is dreadful. Liam Delap just makes a nice run. But the defenders, I don't know what they're doing. Leo Pereira just about cleared it. It could have been one of the most embarrassing own goals we've seen. That was dreadful. And luckily for Flamengo, they didn't concede, because that could have been a real embarrassing one. Chelsea keep it alive, whip it into the box, but too close to Rossi. Now they want to spring a counter here. Flamengo down the right hand side. Henrique. Gerson to Pulgar. Jorginho. Pereira out wide, it goes to Lucas. Right down the left for Araujo. Through the lines. Did he keep himself onside? Plata? No, he didn't. And he knew it. And that's going to be a goal kick. As he's left it there. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. The last 2 or 3 minutes have been chaos. Could have been a goal at either end. And in the end it was a goal at neither end. Because we still remain Chelsea leading by a goal to 0 in this one. A reminder that as it stands, Chelsea winning will be enough to see them qualify for the knockouts if LA and Esperance draw later this evening. That's the way the table stands at the moment. Because if Chelsea win and one of those two teams win later, then no one is qualified, because there's still a chance that both can be toppled at that moment in time. Ooh. Caught there a little bit, the Flamengo player, Araujo, as he was dispossessed, wanted a foul. The referee said play on. Here's Neto for Chelsea. Blocked off well by Wesley. And Gerson. Now Wesley again. Gerson. Nice little ball roll. Gives it back to Wesley. Jorginho. Wide again to Wesley. He's choreographing this move for Flamengo as they try and get forward down that right side. And they work it all the way back to Leo Pereira. Pulgar. Lucas. Flicked through. Laid off by Henrique, but Plata again wasn't on the right message, and neither was Araujo. Sanchez can just clear away from that ball. And then sandwich between two Flamengo players. Cole Palmer was brought down, and he's going to get a free kick. Yeah. Lucas was the one tackling him, and then came flying in, did I think Araujo there, and it's just kind of a sandwich of Flamengo players that caught Cole Palmer. It's going to be a free kick. As we edge closer to that hour mark here in the Midwest of America, in the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. And I wonder if we'll have a second half cooling break. I'd say we will. It's got quite warm over the last few days. As I said about the temperatures, also about the thunderstorms as well across America over the last few days. That's caused a little bit of disruption to a lot of the games. I can tell you now that that game between Benfica and Auckland has restarted. So they started the second half mere moments ago. Here's Flamengo into the final third. The ball has fallen here for Plata. Takes a touch and skies it over the bar. Took a touch off Robert Sanchez on the way through, who made a very good save. But Plata there took the touch. He had the goal at his mercy. He had the chance waiting for him. And he just off balance struck it. Robert Sanchez had to make the punch, the palm over the bar, make the corner, but kind of caught himself off balance there. Gonzalo Plata. Will be a corner. That's the best chance they've created in the second half there, Flamengo. Corner in this left side. Araujo goes for the low delivery, cleared away at the front post. Just about keeps it in on the left channel. Araujo gives it back to Lucas, who works it into midfield. Pulgar. Wesley. Out to the right side for Gerson. Gerson with a lift into the box. It's fallen for Plata, who finds it across the goal. And it's bundled over the line. And Flamengo do have their equaliser. And the Brazilian side are back in the game. And it's the substitute, Bruno Henrique, that gets it off the bench. What can he do? He can find an equaliser in this game for Flamengo. Massive goal. As Chelsea and Flamengo in this second half have had chances to score, it is the Brazilians who find their equaliser and make this a real fight to the finish line in Group D. Bruno Henrique only on the fade 6 minutes and has got a crucial goal in this group for Brazil's best in Flamengo. Great from Plata. He did well not to be greedy. Gerson with the delivery. Plata just guided the header across goal. And Bruno Henrique was waiting at the back post to find the net. Just a simple finish. Lovely goal. Wonderful creation. And Flamengo have their leveller. 1-1. Look at what it means to Bruno Henrique. That is a great goal. A great goal. There you go. Bruno Henrique for Flamengo. 34 years old. Wonderful. Wonderful. Scored 1 goal in the league this season in Brazil for Flamengo. That goal came all the way back in the start of April in a 2-1 win over Vitória. And he scored the winner in the 87th minute to win the game for Flamengo. Well, they scored a very important goal in trying to get Flamengo back to trying winning this game. And their equaliser in this second half. As Chelsea make a double substitution, Nicholas Jackson and Romeo Lavia are coming on. And they're replacing Reece James and Liam Delap. So no goal for Liam Delap on his full debut for Chelsea. Look at the atmosphere that has just arisen inside Lincoln Financial Field. Flamengo and their many travelling fans of thousands in numbers have made their way from Brazil up north to Philadelphia to support their side. Now that's a nice interception. And now they're on the move again, Flamengo. It's a 4-on-3. They're on the move here. Gerson lifting it to the right-hand side, trying to go for goal there. Was Plata again, blocked off by Cucurella. Corner. A second goal in that game between Benfica and Auckland. So Benfica and Auckland not long restarted the second half there. 8 minutes or so they've started there. And Benfica have their second goal. It was Auckland that started the better of the two sides, but Vangelis Pavlidis has doubled Benfica's lead in that one. 2-0 to Benfica, which could be very, very impressive for them. It could be very important for them Here's a chance, corner delivered in. It's not cleared away, and it's found the back of the net again. A massive turnaround. Flamengo have a second, and they've turned it from a defeat into a lead here in Lincoln Financial Field. 3 minutes between the first and the second, and Flamengo have the advantage. It's Danilo that bundles it over the line. It comes from the corner. They fail to clear their lines, Chelsea. And the poke from Danilo, the centre-back, fires it past Robert Sanchez. And Chelsea's half-time advantage within 20 minutes is completely decimated. And now they have a deficit of their own to try and come back from. I said how dangerous the English side were playing. What a dangerous game they were playing. And Flamengo, if they could improve in and around the box, they would be causing Chelsea all sorts of problems. And that has come to fruition. They find that touching edge. They find that cutting edge in the final third in the box. And look at what comes of it. 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. And a 1-goal deficit turns into a 1-goal lead for Flamengo. The Brazilian side have turned this game on its head. And Chelsea, with work to do, and a lot of it to do. Fabulous. Fabulous. What a turnaround. Bruno Henrique scored their equaliser in the 62nd minute. Danilo find their second to take the lead in the 65th minute. Talk about taking your chances when they're coming your way. And 2 of their best chances of this half they have taken with no question. They didn't create a big chance in the first half. They've created 3 big chances in this second half alone in 21 minutes of it. And they lead by 2-1. That's the difference. Their potency, their accuracy, their quality in the final third has gone from non-existent to absolutely blistering between 2 halves of football. And they just can't deal with them, Chelsea, again. Oh, it's a straight red! Oh, it's a red for Nicholas Jackson. He's off. The referee, I gotta say, he takes no question marks in his decision making. The red couldn't come out quick enough. I don't know how that's come about. There was a challenge made, and Nicholas Jackson sees red for Chelsea. And there's a player down for Flamengo in real great pain who's getting treatment. Many a white shirt will surround Nicholas Jackson here, or the referee, sorry, here. It's Enzo Fernandez who is the captain after Reece James being substituted, so he's the one that will be talked to, along with Gerson, the other captain for Flamengo, by the referee, and they're going to have a conversation. But it's a red card for Nicholas Jackson. He is off. He's only on the field. Nicholas Jackson was subbed on in the 64th minute. It's the 69th, and he's off. Oh, that's terrible. That is definitely a red card. That's a great decision. That's awful from Nicholas Jackson. He stretches for the ball. He studs up like that and connects with the shin of Lucas. It's definitely a red. And he comes right down off his leg. That's terrible. That is idiotic, to say the very least. I mean, talk about a collapse from Chelsea. 1-0 up 7 minutes ago. And within 7 minutes, they're 2-1 down and now a man down as well. I mean, my goodness. That is a collapse and a half. And Nicholas Jackson, only on the field a matter of minutes, is shown red. And Chelsea's 1-goal advantage has turned into a 1-goal deficit and a man deficit. What a collapse from Enzo Maresca's team. And he trundles down the sideline there, Nicholas Jackson, and into the dressing room. And he can only blame himself. It's a silly, silly, silly challenge. It's so silly. I didn't see it first time. Credit to the referee for spotting it. But my goodness, it was awful. It was just, there was no excuses. It was he hit him studs up in the shin and dragged it down the front of his of Lucas's shin. It's definitely a red, no doubt. No doubt. And now, maybe Flamengo can take a chance. They've got the extra man now. Can they find a bit of headroom in this game and just simply cruise it to the finish line? Or will Chelsea, the 10 men of Chelsea, try and give them a little bit of a tricky final 20 minutes to try and hold on to? Here's Pedro Neto, has that burst of pace. His body's arriving. It's Palmer into the box. Palmer surrounded by a few. Still got a hold of the ball as he pokes it away. Cucurella. Lavia. Back to Cucurella. Out wide it goes. Palmer going for the early cross in. Away by Leo Pereira. And the follow-up cleared away down that right-hand side. But it's not always plain sailing when a team goes down to 10 men that they'll take advantage and take control of the game. It's not always a guarantee. Yeah, and Leo Pereira there just in the challenge, jumping up for the ball. Enzo Fernandez might have hurt himself a little bit as he tried to challenge for the ball. Well, I can't believe how quickly this game has turned from Chelsea leading, not comfortably leading at any stretch, but Chelsea leading and are probably creating some good chances in the second half, to 2-1 down and a man down within 7 minutes, 6 minutes. Mental. A collapse. That's the only way to put it. Pedro Neto. Cucurella. But despite that, they're still in this game. They still can get a goal that will rescue a draw. That wouldn't be the end of the world, but a defeat would be a little bit more difficult for Chelsea, depending on what happens later between LA and Esperance. Remember, the winner of this game can qualify for the knockouts if they win and there was a draw in the later fixture in this group between LA and Esperance. And as it stands, if Flamengo were to see out this one for a win and the draw comes later, they will qualify for the round of 16. That's as it stands, of course, though. That's the position Chelsea were in at half-time. But how the tables have turned here at Lincoln Financial Fields. Araujo left that ball, looking for the run of Bruno Henrique in behind him, but Chelsea defence had that one covered. Sanchez chips it out to the far side for Cucurella. Caicedo. Colwell. Lavia. A bit of a bobbling ball there as Wesley competed for it with Cucurella, and then Gerson there. He's going to get a yellow card for a little bit of a late challenge on Marc Cucurella there. Just a yellow for him. Yeah, he kind of stands on the toe of Cucurella. Doesn't really make any sort of kind of push for the ball or a late leg for the ball. He just kind of, as he tries to pull out of it, kind of catches the foot of Cucurella. It's just a foul and a yellow card, as we will have this little cooling break to rehydrate. 29 degrees Celsius in the Philadelphia sunshine at Lincoln Financial Field, and I'm sure Chelsea will be in much need of a little break at the moment because they've had a torrid last 10 minutes or so in terms of the way this game has gone for them. Welcome in, Zach. Great to have you with us. I'm good, thank you. How are you? Brianus says 2-3 to Chelsea. Expecting a Chelsea comeback. And they've got the one less player on the field and set 2-1 down with 15 minutes to go in this one. And you just have to, I don't know how you analyse this. It's been a real falling apart of Chelsea. And I go back to the first chance that Flamengo created in this half. Their first big chance, and I said, that's huge. That save from Sanchez, that missed chance from Flamengo is huge because Chelsea can kick on and try and have a chance themselves. And they had a chance a minute or so later that they couldn't take. And it was maybe a sliding doors moment in this game where it was like, you know, neither side really can take control of this. And it was ultimately, when Flamengo did get their equaliser, they made that change with Bruno Henrique, and he made an instant impact. 6 minutes on the field, and he gets the equalising goal that turns this game around. And then you can feel it. The energy's up inside the stadium. Flamengo are up. The fans are up. The crowd are up. And the players, most importantly, are up and feeling it all of a sudden. And that's where the second goal comes from. That momentum that carries through from the first goal. And you know, Chelsea just couldn't get back to level playing. Once it went 1-1, it was all Flamengo until that second goal. They couldn't reset Chelsea. They couldn't settle. They couldn't drag it out and try and bring back the control for themselves. And they've given it away cheaply here, Chelsea, down the right side. Plata, who's gone wide. Jorginho working it through to Gerson. Back to Jorginho now. Plata. Referee will play advantage as there was a foul on that right side on a Flamengo player. Here's Wesley. Goes with a low cross. It's bobbled through. Here's Gerson! Straight at the goalkeeper. That was a really poor, lazy clearance there from Levi Colwell. And Gerson's effort, luckily for Chelsea, was straight at the goalkeeper. Otherwise, that could have been another defining moment in this game, and that could have been a third goal. That could have wrapped this one up for Flamengo, but shot straight at Robert Sanchez as there was a bundling over of Jorginho by Malagusto. Sorry, a free kick has been given. Third goal for Benfica, by the way. They've made it 3-0. Renato Sanchez has added a third. Certainly Auckland City are not getting trounced like they did against Bayern, but they're still 3-0 down, and that game is going to be going the way of Benfica. No doubt about that. We're around about 25 minutes to go in that game. Eventually, in Orlando, at, if I can get the name of the stadium, at the Inter and Co Stadium in Orlando. That game. 3-0 to Benfica at the moment. Here at Lincoln Financial Field, it's Flamengo 2, 10-man Chelsea 1 in Group D. And as it stands, Flamengo will top the table. Now they will be at the top of the table, making it 2 wins from 2. They saw their way past Esperance by 2-0 on match day 1. Did Flamengo, of course. Took it off to a winning start in this competition. Jorgen de Arrascati and Lucas Araujo with the two, or Luis Araujo with the two scorers for Flamengo on that occasion on match day 1. So far today, it's Bruno Henrique and Danilo that are the two scorers that have them leading Chelsea by 2-1. You compare the first and second halves. The first half, both sides had 5 shots. Chelsea had 3 big chances with less possession. If you take the second half, Flamengo have had less of the ball, 45 to 55 in Chelsea's favour, but they've had 3 big chances of their own and 6 shots compared to Chelsea's 1 big chance and 1 shot. So the game has completely swung in Flamengo's favour in the second half, and it was coming. I said it, at the end of that first half, Flamengo were creating good chances, and if Chelsea didn't find a second goal, they would be vulnerable. And look at how it's turned out. They're vulnerable. They turned out to be vulnerable, and they couldn't keep Flamengo at bay, and they couldn't find that second goal. And Flamengo got their comeback. But, Wesley's gone down here, as there is a Chelsea free kick, but Wesley's gone down holding his left leg. So he might need treatment, or is he going to get back to his feet? We will see. It's Felipe Luis there just trying to deliver some information to his players, as Wesley will get some treatment here for Flamengo. Just over 10 minutes to go. Flamengo 2, 10-man Chelsea 1. Chelsea scored the opener through a fortunate breakaway for Pedro Neto, and he finished it well. Bruno Henrique and Danilo combined within 3 minutes of each other to turn this game on its head in the second half, and then it got from bad to worse for Chelsea. They not only went behind in the game, but went down to 10 men as Nicholas Jackson was shown a red card. Straight red card, and rightfully so. It was a really poor challenge on Lucas. Wesley, after receiving treatment, will have to go off the field as is protocol, as Flamengo are going to make changes anyway. Double change incoming. It's going to see Guillermo Varela and Wallace Jan coming on. So Wallace Jan and Guillermo Varela will be coming on in a moment. Chelsea have this free kick. Decent area here. It's Palmer over it, left-footed, whipped towards the box. The header! Oh, it's just onto the roof of the net by Enzo Fernandez. And a goal kick will come. That was a good opportunity. Good delivery by Palmer. Good header by Fernandez, but he just couldn't keep it down. Flicked it, but it looped and carried over the bar and onto the roof of the net above the goal. Just unlucky from the stand-in captain there. And changes coming from both teams, actually. Chelsea are ready in the double change as well at the moment. Can we get these substitution boards going, please? Anytime today, please. That would be nice. Right, double change in coming for Flamengo, as I said. Gerson and Wesley are coming off, and they're going to be replaced by Guillermo Varela and Wallace Jan. So Jan and Varela on, replacing Wesley and Gerson. For Chelsea, Noni Madueke and trying to see who that is. Marquis are coming on. So Marquis and Noni Madueke are coming on, and Cole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez, I believe, have been subbed off. Very interesting from Enzo Maresca there. Mark Gui and Noni Madueke are on. 8 minutes or so of the normal time to go. Flamengo 2, Chelsea 1. Brazilians looking for this comeback. Here they come forward down the right side. Can they work it into the box? It's worked through. Nice little combination. It's fallen here, and it's going to be a third goal. And that's going to be the game for Flamengo. Again, Chelsea failing to control it or deal with it in their box. And they are punished once again. It's a third goal for Felipe Luis's team. And it's going to be 3 points going their way here this afternoon. From a moment of control for Chelsea 20 minutes ago to now being 3-1 down and a man down. And it's Wallace Jan who's only on the field at his first touch of the game. And that is game, set and match in Group D for Flamengo. A great response in the second half. They were struggling to get any real great chances in that first half. But their perseverance is what finds them a result here this afternoon. Their inability to give up and to kind of deny themselves a chance. It was a lovely combination between Plata and Wallace Jan, and then it's Wallace Jan that just gets the touch, has the finish. It's really poor from Chelsea. I mean, they got a centre forward sent off, not a defender, so there's no excuses to that defending. It's really poor. The zap and the energy has been zapped out of Chelsea. Flamengo 3, Chelsea 1. And that is that. It's certainly that now. But again, Chelsea letting themselves down on that occasion. Remember, goal difference could be important in this group. I'm not saying it will come down to that, but it very much could. We'll see what way it turns out later between LA and Esperance. If one of those two teams can win by a 3-goal margin, it sets up a real corker for the final game of this group. because that would mean they would be level on points and goal difference with Chelsea, and it would really make it a real competitive one, as Caicedo was fouled there, and that's going to be a yellow card. Coming out for Pulgar. Yeah. Sliding to win the ball. He just catches the right foot of Moises Caicedo there. Does Eric Pulgar. That's a free kick and a yellow card. We will show you the table and how it stands after this game. Don't worry about that. We'll let you know what this result will mean for the table and what it could mean later on. Remember, Flamengo win and a draw comes out of the game later, then Flamengo will be qualified for the round of 16. That will be certain. Ooh, bloody fly. Free kick here for Chelsea, around about 25 yards out. It's Madueke, and if Trevor Chalobah would move, I can see who the other player is. There's two Chelsea players over it. One of them is Madueke. Chance maybe to cut the deficit here. The referee's trying to get a grip of the wall as they're pushing and shoving there. Marco Correa with a Flamengo player. Free kick, Madueke will take, but Madueke will see it just over the bar for a goal kick. Wasn't a bit lackluster, that free kick, if I'm honest. It was just kind of one of those. It was just tried to lift it. There was no way it was dipping, and it was nowhere near the target. I mean, that was not great at all from Noni Madueke on that occasion. Slightly glum faces of those Chelsea fans. Well, we know what the Brazilian sides are worth and what they're capable of. 54,000 inside Lincoln Financial Field. 54,019 is the official attendance in a stadium which holds, I'll get it for you, I'll get it, I have the details here, a stadium that holds 69,000, so 54,000 out of 69,000 in terms of the official capacity to the official attendance, as Sanchez was almost caught in possession there by the Flamengo press. 54,000, I love to see it. You love to see it. Two very well supported teams in this tournament, Flamengo and Chelsea, and the numbers in attendance here will prove that, and we'll back up that idea. Well, these two back in action on match day 3. That's on the 24th. That will be on Tuesday. And it'll actually be Tuesday into Wednesday. It'll be the early hours of Wednesday morning. Those two games, 2 o'clock kickoffs, 2 a.m. kickoffs in the UK in Group D. They're not one of our 4 groups that we'll be covering. They're not one of the 4 groups we'll be covering in our 8 o'clock games, but we will, of course, keep you up to date with what happens. But they're back in action on the early hours of Wednesday morning. So a decent break, to be fair, for them. Los Angeles will be the opponents for Flamengo on that final day, or that match day 3 of the group stage. And Esperance will be Chelsea's opponents. Chelsea will not have to go very far. They will be here at Lincoln Financial Field for that one. And Flamengo head down to Orlando for their respective game. Both games, of course, kick off at the same time on match day 3, as is, of course, the case. But by that point, Flamengo could be already qualified. A 4th goal for Benfica against Auckland City. Leonardo Barreiro has got that goal. 4-0 now to Benfica. Comfortably going to cruise to victory there. A victory that will make Group C a little bit tasty and interesting as well. They will be top of that group, but of course Boca Juniors and Benfica will, or Boca Juniors and Bayern Munich, sorry, will play later on. Free kick here to Chelsea, right about the edge of the box. Pedro Neto is over it. Rolled across. Neto will have the shot blocked, deflected. Good save by Augustine Rossi. He makes a good save and punches it behind for the corner. A little bit awkward. Pedro Neto has the shot. It deflects and then it bounces down. And it was Mark Gui at the back post that tried to direct it past Augustine Rossi. Goes for the corner. As we about the 90-minute mark. Let's see what the fourth official has to put up on the board. 7 additional minutes. 7 minutes to go. Whip ball into the box from the corner, but caught comfortably by Augustine Rossi. 5th goal for Benfica, and it's another goal for Leandro Barreiro. 2 in 2 minutes for him. And Benfica have 5 against Auckland. Remember, they drew 2-2 in their first game, so their scoreline in this one is their goal difference. And they will have a +5 goal difference. We'll see what comes of that other game later this evening. Wallace Jan. Here for Flamengo. Enrique. That right-hand side. Thought he'd want to throw in off Cucurella, but it's Cucurella that wins the throw-in for Chelsea. As Felipe Luis wants to make 2 more changes for Flamengo. They can make 2 more. It's going to be a yellow card coming out here, though, for a Flamengo player who maybe he's taking a little bit too much time to leave the field in Gonzalo Plata. Luis Araujo and Gonzalo Plata are the 2 that are coming off here for Flamengo. And it's going to see Pedro and Michael, or Mikel. One of the 2. But Pedro and Mikel are coming on, replacing Plata and Araujo. So all of the front 4 of Flamengo that started this game have been substituted. Keeping his attackers fresh is Felipe Luis. They've done a lot of attacking and a lot of good scoring this afternoon. As we are 2 minutes of the 7 are elapsed. Here is Noni Madueke drifting towards the box for Chelsea. Went down under a challenge, but no foul, said the referee, no penalty. That's a very good tackle there, back there by Lucas. And it's going to be a little tussle for the ball. It's going to be a Chelsea throw. A little bit strange. Chelsea wanted to take it quickly, but the referee didn't allow them to take that throw in quickly there. Team Madueke again. That's a very good challenge by Wallace Jan, I think it was, that was tracking back. Yeah, he did very well. Yeah, it's never a foul. Very good challenge on Noni Madueke. It's good to see that other game in Group C did get back underway and get going, and they will play that to a finish, of course, there, with about 8 minutes or so to go. The player of the match has been voted upon. You can vote on it online on the FIFA Club World Cup website. And the superior player of the match is Bruno Henrique, according to according to the vote. So the man who scored the equaliser, and again, probably the turning point of this game for Flamengo. Got that leveller. Oh, what is that? Goodness me. Got a little bit feisty there, Bruno Henrique. Chelsea wanting to move the ball quickly. 3 minutes of the 7 to go. Here's Noni Madueke trying to get past Lucas, who does well. Puts it behind for the corner. Gotta say, Ayrton Lucas on that left-hand side for Flamengo's done very well today. They've all played well. Here's the corner taken short. Gusto trying to work it towards the box. Another block by Lucas. Another corner. Taken short again. Moving it quickly, Chelsea. Working it through the lines to Madueke. Neto trying to scramble a shot. Took a deflection, and it will be cleared away from the box here by Flamengo. And Pedro Neto, a little tug on the back of the number 9. And that comes to nothing. Well, where was this energy been for Chelsea? They're putting a lot of energy into trying to battle for this game, but I mean, they're 3-1 down, a man down with 2 or 3 minutes to go. Where was this 10, 15 minutes ago? When they were 2-1 down and they had a chance of getting back into the game. As I said, could it be goal difference that they're trying to manoeuvre a little bit just to ease the pressure? Remember, their goal difference, as it stands, Chelsea would be 0. Because they won by 2-0 in their first game, but they're losing by 2 goals in the second game, so therefore it would reset to 0. 3 goals scored, 3 conceded. Which would mean that if either of those two below them were to win by more than 2 goals later, they would topple Chelsea, and Chelsea would be outside the top 2 in this group come the end of the evening. If they either two of the two win by 2 goals later, they would be in the same goal difference, but Chelsea would lead them goals scored wise, if that were to be the case. If it was a 2-0 victory. All the complications and decisions, but at the moment, it means this defeat would mean that Chelsea need to go into the final day hoping, or the final game of the group, match day 3, needing a result, needing a win. A draw could be enough, but there's no guarantees. They know that they've still got a job to do on match day 3 if they want to get through Chelsea. That's the way it stands at the moment. They play Esperance. I mean, what a game that would be. If Esperance were to beat LA later this evening, Esperance and Chelsea would go into the match day 3 game against each other, knowing the winner would find a way through. The winner would progress. A defeat for LA would make it impossible for them to go through tonight, because Chelsea and Esperance would play each other and they would be the two fighting for second if that were to be the case. Around about 10 seconds or so to go here. Free kick to Chelsea, taken quickly. No time really remaining. Right in the right flank here it comes with Gusto. Works it back to Madueke. There's no room at all, no manoeuvring. And there's the final whistle. A big comeback result for Felipe Luis's side against Chelsea, who absolutely collapsed in that second half, did Enzo Maresca's side. They were leading by a goal to 0 at half-time, but we knew that wouldn't have been enough to see them through. The Brazilians were struggling in front of goal in the first half. They couldn't do it for a whole 45 other than they did in the first, and they didn't. They turned it around. Bruno Henrique, the substitute, with the equaliser. Within 3 minutes it was 2-1 when Danilo poked home from a corner. Then it got from bad to worse for Chelsea when they went down to 10 men, when substitute Nicholas Jackson was sent off within minutes of being entering the field. And then the cherry was put on the icing on the cake when Wallace Jan scored the third that wrapped up the 3 points, and a massive 3 points for Flamengo in this group. It is finished at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia in Group D. Flamengo 3, Chelsea 1. And that is a big result in what means for this group, because we are set off for what will be a massive match day 3, depending on what happens, obviously, in the other group game later this evening between LA and Esperance. We'll show you exactly what that means for the table in a second. Let's just show you the scores then as they stand, and as it's finished here in this game between Flamengo and Chelsea. So it's finished 3-1 here. Benfica still winning 5-0 against Auckland City in their game. Of course, that was delayed from the earlier kickoff. That was delayed due to weather disruption, but Benfica, since restarting the game, have scored 4 unanswered goals in the second half against the semi-pro New Zealand side. So they lead 5-0 going into the final few minutes in that one. That's Group C. So here in Group D, this is the way it stands then. This is the way it's finished. I can update that for you because that's wrong. But it has finished promisingly, very promisingly, for our Group D leaders, who will be Flamengo after this evening. This is the way it stands. So Flamengo 6 points from a possible 6, 2 wins from 2. from their first 2 games of this group. Chelsea sit in second on 3 points, but remember, look at those 2 teams below them. LA and Esperance, both without a point from their first games, but play each other later. One of those 2, if they win, could have a chance of going above Chelsea tonight if they win by 2 or more than 2 goals, which would be massive going into match day 3. If Esperance win, then they play Chelsea on the final group game, which could set up a cracking blockbuster for that final match day 3 game in Group D. We are set up for a fantastic one. Remember, if it's a draw between LA and Esperance tonight, Flamengo will be qualified to the knockouts. They will be into the round of 16, and Chelsea would only need a draw on the final day to secure second spot. That's the way it would iron out on match day 2. Right, that's the way we stand. For the moment, that LA Esperance game is an 11 p.m. kickoff UK time. It is taking place this evening at Geddes Park in Nashville, Tennessee, and that is a 5 p.m. Central time zone time, but of course that's 11 p.m. UK time for that one. And then there's an offering in the early hours of the morning, 2 a.m. game in Group C, that other Group C game. We'll see Boca Juniors and Bayern Munich lock horns in that one a little later. That is set to be a cracker at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Right, that is it for us. Thank you very much for joining us for this one. Flamengo getting all 3 points here on this afternoon. 6 points out of 6 for them. A big start to the group for them. And they could be qualified by the end of the evening. Don't forget tomorrow's coverage. We have Mamelodi Sundowns against Borussia Dortmund. Group F could be set for a bit of an upset as the South African side winning on match day 1 with Dortmund dropping points to Fluminense. It could mean if Mamelodi Sundowns win tomorrow night, Dortmund could be in trouble and Sundowns could be heading for the knockouts. We will see what comes of that one. That's tomorrow, 5 o'clock, and that game is from the TQL Stadium in Cincinnati. We'll be live from 10 minutes before kickoff, so do join us then. Right, that is it from us. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to not miss any of the remaining Club World Cup games here on LFS. We'll bring you right through to the live final on the 13th of July. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.